Alright, the School in a Box Guide Series, Manual 8, How to Write Up a Business Plan for a Self-Sufficient School, Teach a Man to Fish, Education, that's the way to pay ourselves, for ourselves. Alright, the School in a Box is designed with a one-stop shop for any of the interested in establishing their own self-sufficient school. The series made by the 9 individual manuals will be trying them cover all the key areas which need to be considered with detailed creation of a self-sufficient school. Each manual offers a step-by-step guide to building your understanding the key concept of the master range of the planning of the management tools, as well as providing well of the case study with the light real example to illustrate both best practices and easily avoid pitfalls. The full listing of the manuals are guided as follows: the getting started introduction, financial self-sufficiency tools, how to evaluate organization, how to organize your school, how to generate the school income, how to run a self-sufficient school, 6, how to educate successful rural entrepreneurs, and 7, how to organize student life, 8, how to write a business plan with the self-sufficient school, 9, how to financial plan credit. And the school box guide series represent the knowledge experience they had work with dedicated with the authors, editor of the Teacher Man to Fish and Fiducia Paraguay. We would like the following individuals specifically contribute for the series. Thanks to School in a Box, the guide series, we've been possible the journaling sponsorship of the Educate Africa initiative of the SaveX Foundation. Copyleft in spirit opening the source of education. The School in the Box guide is offered under the terms of the following copyleft in 2018. Contents: introduction, executive summary, business description, market research, competitor analysis, sales, marketing, operation plan, management structure, financial plan, and projections. Introduction: what is a business? Business plan clearly sets over the objective of the business self-sufficient school, as in states exactly how the business intends to operate, how it will become profitable. How will business help me? How will business plan help me? With a good plan will keep the focus for the objective of the help you plan for the future because you have already planned your activities low down the budget for the predicate of the future cash flow so that they will stay on track and derive towards a goal of self-sufficient stool. It will also help you identify the areas that you might have overlooked for the areas that require more than the thought and planning. Why else is the business plan important? A business plan is very important for the training of the attractive financing for the potential investors will be able to read with the brilliant business plan and address both in their debt. I'll answer all their awkward questions, convincing them that the dream and worth of funding. Okay, let's get started. The manual lead you through the 8 sections that must be included with the great business plan, with each section and with the sketch plan, business plan, so that you can use these on the basis of your own more detailed personal business plans. By the time you finish reading this manual, you will be at the foundation of the business plan ready for you. Before writing with the business plan, you should assert and discuss the decision to be self-sufficient. The plan will be in the mechanism that will allow you to estimate the reality of the retailer with the precise circumstances of the school. Business plan for the other schools will be work as references and helps, but every school will need to create their own plan. A good business plan must answer the following question: what type of business can we be started? What clients and be? Who will the clients be? What should be interested in buying the product? What will the clients find out with the existence of your body, with the production and the produce of something similar? Who are competing with? Is your work team trained to develop your product, or do you have any resources need to implement the plan? Do you know whether to get these resources? 2. Executive summary. The objective of the chapter is to help you write the executive summary of your business plan. When you finish with the reading of the chapter, you will enable to clearly identify where your business needs to why your business needs an executive summary. What is an executive summary should contain? As mentioned in the introduction with your business plan serves the role as one of the most important documents you will need to want to pursue funders and investment development of the self-sufficient school. The equally important, however, is to set out the detailed road map of how the school will achieve the financial stability, providing the vital focus on all the people involved making your school a reality. After many long years of research, careful thought with your plan should cover everything the outsiders know of the understanding how to project the work. However, even if it was working unrevealed genius, you need to accept that everyone who is interested in your everyone is not interested in your project and will have time or desire to read that through every detail on how you will run your diary was desire to read every detail of how you will run your diary or who is the big local competitor of the rabbit meat market. Executive summary: the brief description of the full business plan is, if not possible, more than page or two in length. It should be clear and concise summary with the contents found in the same structure the fully documented. Ideally, should be inspired with the reader with the want to read more, and make it an easy understanding with the plan. The fuller information can be found on a particular topic. Generally, it is recommended that the sections written in many sections of the business plan are complete with the I'm sure that represent accurate summary of the content. Executive summary should include a brief description of planning, outlining key business activities, a sketch of the market and competitor analysis, a sales projection, total appropriate operation, a total operating cost for the school. B. Business description. The objective of the chapter is to help to provide the effective overview section identifying and describing the companies that will generate income with the school, as well as the outline of the non-financial objects. When you have finished with the reading of the chapter, you will be able to clearly explain who you are trying to achieve, what you are trying to achieve, why you need this description, how to write the description. The fairly unusual school has to have the business plan, although the many regular schools have strategic operational plans to make the overall section plan all the more important, as is the section you will explain how the different financial and non-financial objects of the school support each other, and chance to provide the background information to explain the origins and needs of your school, range of the business activities the school is looking to pursue. For clarifying, refer to the school income generating unit of the company throughout this manual. Although each of the unit fulfills the educational purpose, the thinking of them as companies re-emphasizing the vital role of each of the generating throughout to support the school's financial self-sufficient targeting. Then we will speak the milk production of the dairy farm and the hen house where the eggs will be reproduced. Well, they will refer to the dairy referred to as dairy company or the poultry company, etc. It's fundamental to ask the question each of the income generally company with this, so the establishment prior to between each company. How do you want to do that? How much do you want to do? Beside the establishing goal, local need, of identifying the milestones that you want to reach and achieve. The size of each company is also defined as in considering both learning and economical opportunities to form the size that will allow the generation resource in an efficient way. They imply for the most known, but the physical space available, the investment of the necessary structure. Most importantly, the volume of the product we hope to sell in the market. What do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? What is your motivation for each of the products? You must evaluate both the learning aspects. For example, if San Francisco agricultural concluded wanted to create a space for the henhouse egg production, the search for the space was based upon the type of the chicken that they were going to have, why they were going to have by them, and how many eggs they would produce. They also investigated the market, even though they found the number of bigger companies that were also sold the eggs to the merchants nearby the city. They detected the opportunity since the companies only visited their clients once a week. The service did not satisfy the clients. The merchant heard that the school would produce eggs and they should interestingly, especially in the fact that the fresh eggs were going to allow the better positioning of the price. As a result, the research of the school decided to work on 1,000 chickens that would produce 700 eggs per daily. To demonstrate the existing opportunity, the market must determine the production level of the school. The schools did not need to do many of the schools just train the students. Each of the business, but a business essentially to take account of the market demand. Each of the income generation units should be measured according to the market, the physical space available, the resource available, the contribution with the self-sufficient school that can be made. If we want the production to become income, we need not to count the clients if they are willing to provide and pay for the product with the overview of the pressure measure of the demand, but they will have stock that could become problems since it requires the right storing conditions. On the other hand, with extreme caution to reduce the production, we can only losing the opportunities, even favoring the growth of the opportunity our competitors, so we can see how the important established following the sound reason the bright size of each company. Production system. Describe the steps necessary to make the product delivery in the market, and then including the planning of the personal management structure, the development, organization, cultural. Description of the business. The most important, the difficult part of the business is the goal of the section to explain the business and how it will run and what do you think it will be successful. Deciding what the business is and what it will be in 5 years. The most important decision you will make with a small business could be involved in more than one activity. In this case, the key decision with the central activities will be all planning and the efforts will be based on the perception with the type of the business you are. If you make the real mistake of the point of your chance of success significantly reduced, therefore you should take the time calmly at this point And time to think calmly about this point. What is and what will be your business? The type of the business mainly one commerce production services. The model business signal owner partnership with the cooperative. The base for the lawyer and their point can very be useful. State of business and the business new is an expansion for the acquisition of functional business and the marketing of the purposes of the to serve this. What is the size fraction of the market that you hope to cover? What will the company serve the market better than the competition? Will you be will your business be profitable? Will you choose the particular location when management staff that are available with what necessary to run the business? What will you do? Open business. What days it shall open? What days and hours will be open? Will be adjusted seasonally? And why will all loans to investments and share of the relevant make a business more profitable? 4. Market research. The objective of the chapter is to help you understand the importance of the market research, how to conduct it, and how to present the results. When you have finished with the reading of the chapter, you will be able to clearly explain why understanding what the market characteristics are vital for success in the business, the size of the nature of the markets that exist for the goods and services, who the kinds but will be, and for the product and services that will be produced. Time and time after the business fail and founders the large sums of money, all because they did not really understand the market where they are operating in, and they had taken in to do some sold and market research before started knowing the market, getting known with the potential customer, the needs are, and what they buy, and how much and how often. The critical part of the business planning of the process is one they need to have done before you begin with the production activity. The market research will help you to inform decisions on areas such as what products are the most in demand, what products should be starting the business with, what other products might also be valuable for protection of the production in the future. Better the informed the decision, the greater the chance of the school business and being successful. Before starting thinking about how to conduct your research, let's start by taking a step back and making sure we are understanding the market actually is. What is a market? What is a market? We often use the word market to feel safe, and the assumption for the person we are talking to understand the sense that we are using the term. This is not always true, but the concept of the market refers to two slightly different areas outlined in the table below. A market in single-phase location. As almost every country, there are a market. Many in the town squares, the trees, and special buildings where the traders bring their goods to sell. The buyers will visit looking for the products they are likely to buy. Because the market is always in the same place, there are normally lots of buyers and sellers, which means the basic products such as milk, eggs, and prices quickly converge on the daily market price. A market exists without a single physical location. We talk about the market in the second sense. The two differences, we are normally talking about only a limited range of the goods services, while talking about the market of the tomatoes. We'll know that the buyers, sellers of these goods and services are located in different places in the market. Tomatoes may include everyone with the bigger scale processors, city restaurants, and rural to hotels. To avoid confusion, normally we will talk about this markets in school and box series. We are not referring to the physical market. The markets of the broader sense of the way buyer and sellers are given to the type of the products and services. A few facts about the markets. Markets can be local, regional, national, or global. Today they are possibly not only local but internationally as well. Markets exist not only with the physical product but also services for the computer lessons and tourist accommodations. But the goods and services can offer the interest of the business opportunity self-sufficient in school. When there is a perfect competition in the market, the price of the product or the service is determined with the many of the buyers selling and the reach of the agreement and the acceptable both sides. Markets can be distorted with one or other side of the transaction has an advantage for the other side when there is only one buyer of the product, although the price is interference will the government offers subsidiary to produce. The importance of the market research is essential when you are planning to work with a self-sufficient school that you have make up the release studies of the market. They should be guided with as well if the best business opportunities exist if they are being realistic about the sales of possibilities. We mentioned before the business then failed because of the poor market research. The following examples might give you some idea why. Example 1: the school started with the product of the goat's milk before it has begun to offer the free training to end its activity. Once the goats have been brought with the milk with the producer, the school discovered that no one will buy the milk because people in the local community just don't like the taste of it, and the business fails and the school loses money. 2. In another case, the school chief of the project identified the mozzarella pizza for the nature of which the local restaurants may be interested in the restaurant, and sampled the chief, impressed with the superficial spirit flavor and the quality. They said that they definitely buy from the school. The first batch of the cheese are ready to school to try to sell with both the restaurants and only but a very small amount, but finally they discovered that although the school cheese is much better, lower quality mozzarella, much of the cheap of the restaurant customers are very price sensitive. The business fails and the school loses money. Example 3. Elsewhere, the school in the area of the international tourists decide to start a hotel to buy guys quality materials to build a solid-looking concrete building with durable plastic furniture. The type of long-lasting building furniture represents the sort of the home-like people that aspire to have. After several months, within a few guests of the school discover they oversee the tourists actually prefer the cheaper buildings made with local materials like bamboo and thatch because they do not have hotels that like back home. Such accommodations considered exotic, therefore attractive. Business fails and school loses money. In each case, the school could have the avoiding making loss. The last case could have been made with a good profit. They had properly researched for the market before starting the business. Good research should provide the following type of information: who will buy the product, who will supply with the goods you need to operate with, how large is the total market, what percentage of the market you reach, what market the potential for the growth, what is the market segmented with a different type of the customers, what are the decision driver the different customers, price, quality, reliability, and scale, the target market, the local, regional, national, international, what are the direct and indirect competitions. Market research in itself cannot guarantee the success of the business. However, to have the research that can provide with the answer to the question like those with a greater improvement your chance of success and avoid costly mistakes. If the market research is important, but often not done so badly, with the three most common reasons for not conducting proper market research are the fear of the ignorance and laziness, while also trying to show something that we've never done before. It could be hard to do something well as little experience. Likewise, it's easier to sit and write a plan for comforting making assumptions is where they have no direct knowledge there. Then go to and spending some time around making observation and asking questions. The reason I understand they are not acceptable when you start a new school. The business may be not risky with risking. You may not be risking your own money in the same way the individual entrepreneur does, but you risk both your own and your school's reputation in the community as well as the goodwill of the founders. You'll have the moral obligation to ensure that they do everything within the power to help your business succeed. How to conduct market research. Market research must. The clear notion of the number of the customers that would be interested in acquiring the goods and services offered by the school, with the time of the frame, with what price they are willing to pay. The indicating the characteristic specification service provided will help if they decide with the type of the packaging established with the characteristic of the product that the consumer wishes to buy. Tell you what kind of people are interested in the goods, which will help you with the orientation of the business, determination, volume of the product, provide information appropriate price for the product with the service in order to complete in the market. To keep in mind with the irrational concept that held by many people that are an expensive product that will normally be better the quality than product of low cost. Help you decide the right side of the business to start and give you an idea of the future with expansion possibilities and growth. Growing growth. Tell you unusual distribution channels, the type of the product that service they are offering, with what its function, the state of the market, and able to identify the people with the client's demand. Since the school head will not be enough to produce the quality with its efficient volume, what it will have to adapt the production of the market demand. What we wanted produced and what was obtained easily, not always the market demand. It's important to keep the buying essentiality of the product because of the effect of the prices, meaning of the product and demand. But in the peaks, the price tends to rise, especially if the product is scarce, and if on the other hand there's a lot of demand for the same product and the price is generally lower. 5. The competitor's analysis. The object of this chapter is to analyze the competition. When you have finished reading of the chapter, you will be able to describe what the competition is, but the difference between you and your competition is what your business is able to succeed despite existing competitors. Apart from the market research, you will have identified the target market that is which with the clarity demand of the product. With existing demand of the product is strong in normally case, there are already some businesses attempting to make the profit by meeting the demand. If they decide to go ahead and start the new entrepreneurship, the business will be your competitors. The better you understand the competition, the better the chance of you income generation strategies will succeed. With the competitor analysis, and analyze the competition will tell you which company product produces the products that are similar to yours, how big they are, the approximate percentage of the market coverage of the possess, what the sale price of the public is, and what the quality of the product and the commercial strategy they use. What is the competitor analysis important? The strong competition, how hard it will be for the business, for the time, for the customer, generate the income from your school. Once your target market has been determined, that you will therefore need to evaluate carefully with the markets offer similar products to yours, how many competitors there are in it, and whether you can afford to offer the competitive advantage over them. Who are my competitors? Identifying the competitors is more important to understand those of the direct and indirect and easily find out who the direct competitors are to sell other products or services very similar to those offered by the school. They identify them only need to go through the area in which they think of it as establishing yourself with consultant, local newspapers, etc. Indirect competitors are those who will sell the same market with the same product and services. This is why other types of products and services, if they will to be successful, would directly limit the possibility of sales of the products offered to the school. Factors include competitor analysis. One of the most important factors to be in analyze the sale of the potential competition. Analyze the total volume of the sale enough that you must also consider the type of the client they're selling to, even with the competition company of their product. They may be inattentive to certain areas of the market. Therefore, the school could see to the market by directing the certain services or products to the particular type of the consumer. The market each of the product with the service component of any segments. This means that within each of the market, different groups of the consumer, all up with the income social group, the certain segments of the market demand with the specific product services. For example, the consumers are high income generally become by more expensive the product with the hope of receiving the better quality of the item with the higher standard of service. The volume production of the school won't generally be high, so they should be normally oriented with yourself. The secure sector is good at acquisitive power. The clients who are willing to pay with a better price demand better quality to be able to work with a segment of the society. You require personalized initial dedication to them that quickly allows you to count the stable consumer basis. How do you competitor compete? Once the competitor with the side of the type of the market with the direct with the identify the necessary to investigate the why they compete, so they discover the strength of the competitive advantage. To know how your competitors are competing, the necessary to answer the question like these: how vary with the products? How do they show the product the quality? What are the qualities to emphasize? What type of services do they offer? What the quality? What kind of image of the products do they have? The majority of the companies operate inside the narrow limits. Generally, all of the stores have the same variety of the products, same margin, with a different in other details. For example, the opening hours, the comfort, and the time of the consumer. Understand the competition is fundamental to the growth of the business. If you know the competitors who are doing the capture of the parts of the market with the cannot satisfy, it's probably that after studying the competition, we will be able to reconsider the original idea of the successful business has found a way to stand out from the competitors. This means you will have to adapt and find a way of doing something more better than the competition. This reason is competition analysis must be done. We should also dedicate the time to analysis of the tender of the compromising the product, the service offered by the school to the or was offered other than organization. Analyze the tender and answer the following question: what offering the same of the goods and services? What are the characteristics of the products, the type of the quality, etc.? What is their sales price? What is the market base of the geographical, and what is the supply of the volume? The analysis tender can be achieved with the filling of the matrix similar to the following: date of the product, the area, the name of the producer, the area of operation, center, region, the product of the client, price of the client, 600 possible fitting with a new branch, and the point of the expansion points, number of the workers occupied 120, volume production in units 1200, B, name producer, northern region, area 500, price of the product for the client, no data on the product, expansion plans, 80 workers occupied, the volume production 700, C, the name of the producer, western region 550, product from the client, the none of the extension plan with the number of the workers occupied 90, volume of the production 800. In many cases, it may be difficult to retain the information filled in the chart, but it is something you must accomplish. It is important with the supply of the B, but visit the supply center and supermarket to see if the products are offered, that they are presented with the characteristics they have to produce them, what selling the price that they have, if they have sense for the regional year-round products, they can gain the trust of the merchants, they might be able to get the data on how often they go to the market, what their sales figures look like, and how they are affected with the various market conditions. Just one of the visit isn't enough, since they wouldn't leave the distortion of the market is important, but the interviews polls of them are made with the person directly of the business concerned. This way, the appropriate detail between the elaboration of the products of the school start, the information will always fit the product's value more unique fit others. Although the closest market, the most convenient, in many cases, they may not have the necessary demand to justify our production. In the case that you should test the feasibility of the supplying of the market with the greater demand and further from the school. 6. Sales and marketing plan. The objective of this chapter is to help you write the sales of the marketing plan and understand the importance of the benefits. When you have finished reading this chapter, you will what a sales market plan what a sales market plan is and what it's used for, what you should consider and how to write it, how to create a sales projection forecast for the plan. Your business and plan should be well underway by now. You've decided to business activity and product is with the research of the market, with the confidential demand exists for the product, with you've looked for the competition, identified what you and your product have an advantage. Now you need to formulate a strategy how it will present with your body and the choice of the market will help the price in the channel for the going to use the market for the sales. All these issues must be covered in the part of the sales market plan. It's fairly clearly will solve sales involved in the middle of the, let's start making some, I'm sure they understand what the marketing is. Our marketing is do a little research. We find lots of the complicated definition for the marketing, both of which often leave the know wise about the real involved the public. Put simply in the market involved the range of the strategy to meet the potential customer need, so they buy your product and make the profit. The consensual marketing has the clear idea of the customer needs and or which or why they must spend in such much time the earlier conducting the market research as almost basic level of the market meeting the needs for the means of looking for the four area keys effect of the wood, whether you're making sales or not. The four areas, the price and product and place and promotion. Let's look at one of them in a little more detail. Each one in a little more detail. Price. The customer to make the purchase they have the feel that there is need and desire for the product and the service to justify the price that the seller is asking for. That the price of the marketing decision will have the huge impact over the sale. The product of the customer will only buy when offering the product will also be services of the needs and desire. View the product and services is 100% standard, but adopting the product with minimizing attractiveness of the target customers and therefore by part of the marketing. 3. The place. Assuming the customer does not need your product. Assuming the customer does need your product, you will still only be able to meet this need. Make a sale. If then, be prepared to be able to place where you are selling it. When you choose to sell your product, therefore, the part of the marketing, the promotion. Again, assuming the customer does not need your product, you will still only be able to meet this needs. Make the sale, then known that the product exists, making sure that the target customers will be aware of the product, the features, where to buy it, etc. Through effective promotion technique, therefore, part of the marketing. Define marketing with the 4 P's does not capture every aspect of the marketing, every type of the product and service, but is an easy way to start thinking about the factors that influence how the customer marketing and purchase the decision. Marketing is about swinging the decision in your favor. Our purpose is sales marketing plan. The marketing is meeting the customer need, but they also buy with the product. The good sales marketing plan, laying over the strategy for the belief, the need, the needs of putting the plan with the writing of the will, have the documentation that will guide the activities, other conferences other than achieving the business goals. Well, then the sales marketing plan, they also end up looking at relatively specialized areas such as advertising, distribution. When might be the service business outside of the school, you plan with the guy with the both in your and their expectations about the relationship that is needed to achieve the full, and no matter how good the research, some decision you may represent the calculated risk containing the element of the assumption throughout the banking of the assumption and explicit sales marketing plan will be able to achieve later based on the actual experience. The sales market plan is therefore an important part of the institutional learning. One of them that will help continually improve the business effectiveness. Creating your sales and marketing plan. If the plan will be, we must use the information for the development, chapter 3, 4, and 5 of this manual of the chapter, but define the product established from the market assignment of the competition. The good marketing plan does not need to be complex and extensive, although it should contain enough information to help establish, direct, and coordinate your marketing activities. It should also contain the clear strategic vision, which when the plan is outlined with the marketing mix that you have chosen to explain why these strategies can be expected to satisfy the target customer, highlight and the calculated risk assumption that you may have made in the process. You like the business plan, which is part of the sales marketing plan, with working the progress you need to revive from time to time, the update of the basis of your experience and the build within the idea to your plan with the start, and then can be and even become your marketing effort. The taking the customer, the feed market on the market will not justify the providing new easy ideas, improvements will increase your volume of the business, and can also show the customer you are about their opinion of the use of the marketing of the strategy itself. The following chart begins with a breakdown of the 4 P's and specific decisions that you need to be covered in the sales marketing plan. This chart shows the sales marketing plan, the product and policies, presentation, package, market development, product development, diversification, price policies, lowest price, maximize penetration, price aiming at the competition, higher prices, place policies, direct sales, intermediates, distribution by area, promotion and policies, promotion channels, publicity, advertising, public relationships, product. We have to take some of the decisions in relation to the product. In this case, the policies we apply are market penetration, market development, product development, diversification, price policies. When we decide how to price our product, we can decide the following. Penetration policy, penetration price at low price are the same with the competition at high prices. When the price is established, we must understand that the price will provoke the certain behavior of the buyer and client. The high prices will lead to the expectation of the high quality. Low prices will lead to the presumption of low quality. Another aspect of the behaviors of the tenders that do not always constitute the will offer the certain demand of them. Distribution. There may be several different approaches to the method of distribution. Most importantly, the channel of distribution could be direct sale through intermediates or through distributors. Generally, direct sale is the most advisable method of reaching the customer because of the longer chains of the intermediation. That more your profits you will have to share. We should neglect that we are going to make other products and to the client. Some of the options are promotion of advertisement, public relationships, using a combination of the previously mentioned variable to establish the strategy or to achieve the planned sales. Analysis must be considered the relevant aspect of the competition that you can determine the position of the product should be. Creating sales market budget of your own business plan, the demand and estimate of the sale that has been planned with the sales, a suitable difference within the key to the wide of the sale projection that is to be established in the sales. You must complete with the sales projection how much of the product represents the monetary value achieved, multiplying the quantity of the unit to be sold with the unit price. You add everything to the lowest price, you add everything up into the last row, give the total annual quantity of the units to be sold and total amount of the monetary term that these sales generate. Alright, here A, the product sales budget goes to the products A, price total A, product B, units price total B, product C, price and total C, sale total units, total sale, and units, local currency, April through December, January through December, and the total product sales budget. The activity chronogram consists of the establishing activity developed as part of the plan and strategy communication established. Marketing activity charts with the number 1 through 7 and description and add more rows as necessary. January through December activity charts. Each activity declared with a marketing activity chart will require the financial outlay in order to carry out the activity. The format marketing activity charts imply that there is no limit what it can do, but the course when transfer the marketing activities to annual budget, you might find that they are too expensive or ambitious, or you may have the reducing reevaluate the marketing activity. Your annual budget market activities 1 through 8 description in January through December. Your annual budget market activities. Alright, 7, operation plan. The objective of the chapter is to help you write the operational plan and understand the importance and the benefit. When you have finished reading the chapter, you will what is the operation plan is, what it is used for, what it should contain, and how to write it. But what you know how to do done. If you now you'll have done some of the serious thinking about the business plan you want to run about at your school. You must do. You now are the business and you confidential demand of the product. You have looked at your competitors doing and found the niche which you can expect the particular advantage. You come up with a range of strategies to make the potential customer will know the product exists and where to buy it. Will help them be happy with the product's price and design quality. What or you haven't explained yet, and I haven't gone into the actual make of the product time to write an operational plan. Purpose of an operational plan. The operational plan aims to apply and explain with the practical side of the business. The operation will work no matter how good your sales and marketing strategy can have an actual make of the product, then you'll be able to sell it. Likewise, it can be the make of the product from now at all the costs of the leaves, room for the profit, then there will be no setting up the school business at all. Operation plan exactly how will make your product will deliver to your services with where the cost of this will be, but that's not at all. If we're easy to predict the future, will we all be millionaires? The one thing can be confident with the setting up of your school business is not everything will go in according to plan. A robust operational plan will anticipate the major risk of the business faces and how to deal with them, but planning with the writing of the documentation with both guides your activities and other confidence to the others that will be able to successfully run the operation within the line of heart of the proposed business. And documentation with which can and show and constantly refer back to you, helping to make sure the actions are guided well throughout the long term of the strategy, not to be needed for the quick fixes of the short term response events. It's worth of one of the relative importance of the operation plan inside of the business plan that depending on the nature of business. For example, the school business offering the adult and even classes operational plan will be expected relatively short compared with the writing with the marketing plan. In some other, your operational plan will lay out the roadmap of how it will manage the production, service, the delivery side of the business, minimize risk, and ensure the profitability. Or create your own operational plan. Your operational plan should include the following section: overview of the production process, supply chain, production cost, production expense, risk management. The writing operational plan, one must be very careful not to excessively technically complicated by make the analysis hard and consequent backfire, keeping in mind that the expected reader must be able to understand the content of the information presented. There should be global understanding of the business. Overview of the school, handle for the education alongside production, explain the process of the produce for the goods along with the description of the factory available equipment, the materials needed, the labor requirement detecting the product process for the commodity those reached with the example the assembly line with the full scale potential in the term of the production and capacity, the possibility of the productive process to respond to the file fall in demand with your methods of checking the quality of the product, the maintenance for the technical assistance used to describe the level of support the technical assistance the company will give the clients after they have brought the product of the received service to demand special important, but if you are making the new product they want the technical complexity. How will the product be how will the production process be accomplished with the fundamental raw materials? What is the origin? What are the technical process that will be used for the production? What will the qualification training of the new workforce? How will the process distributed and fulfilled? External influences. This could include change the productive resources, change in technology, governmental regulations. Chapter 8, Management Instruction. The object of this chapter is to help you build the general structure of the administration of the agricultural school. When you finish reading this chapter, you will understand what is the management, what is the step of the building, effective administrative structure, but remember the building of the administrative structure, what does the organizational chart look like, what the responsibility each of the posts should be declared. Management is of the art of making of this happen, and the Crosby. Administration is responsible for the successful failure of the company and indispensable to directing certain matters of the group of the individual chase for the common goal must be to work together to achieve the goal, making the subordinate of the individual desires in order to reach the group goal of the management that provide for the leadership of the group that must include the detailed description of the key managerial position for the profile of the kind of the skills required to fulfill the role of the description of the relevant skills positive for the person people already posted. For each of the person that occupies the position and responsibility necessary for the describe the details, formula, professional experience for the specialization, determine the functionality, determine the section for the list for the achievement throughout their professional careers. The description will include the strength of the possibility invented for the agricultural school at the same time and indicate the strength of the weakness of the management team for the future of the development and useful dynamic of the detailed description and responsibility duties of the member of the organization will perform the remuneration of the will conserve the position. We also must define the labor categories that will exist in the agricultural school, the job of each of the category will fill, the labor agreement of the worker, the way of the hiring, number of the workers per position, the working with hours guaranteed with the correcting of the function at the school. Keep in mind that the agricultural school will require a core of the support staff to deal with any of the unforeseen events that might occur affecting the school in general, productive areas in particular. Whether you should draw up the original organization chart of the school by activities and areas, name specific people if already known, but the managing position below is example of the organizational chart, agricultural school description of each position. Alright, this is chart shows the structural agricultural organizational chart, priority organizational school, the board of the director of the agricultural school of the foundation, manager of the priority organization, executive director of the agricultural school and foundation, school directors, directors of agricultural school staff, academic boarding in school, secondary program, production manager, health, governance, and administrator. Technical supporter for the academic, our teachers, production assistants, and cooks. Alright, NB, the example of the boarding school owned and managed by the non-profit foundation running a relatively large hotel business within it clearly will vary depending on the type of the school in question. Our specific function, the dealing with the challenge of the building of the agricultural school requires many personal qualities. For example, the leadership abilities, administration skills, the decision-making skills, the personal administrative skills, the verbal written communication skills, availability to build the relationship and teamwork, other required ability to proactive, responsible, dynamism, emotional stability, capability to design, implement, and monitoring projects. The employee should be entrepreneurs so they would have terms meaning of the way of life. They are detailed description and specific function of the position mentioned in the organization chart. The executive director, architectural school, foundational legal representative of the foundation to whom the director of the architectural school is responsible. The executive director of the architectural school function of the director is made with the responsibility embracing entirely everything of the activity of the school. He must organize, command, and coordinate the activity of the school, seeking to fulfill the goal of the special agricultural education improvement of the business units. The director will personally be in charge of the planning activities according to the philosophy mission of the organization, establishing annual goals, working with the production managers to draw up the annual business plan, analyzing and diffusing the management policies so that they work with the guidelines personnel to produce the adequate performance. The management should inform the requesting of the corresponding supervisors each of the important aspects related to the area, the planning application for the authorized budget for the personnel with the product, showing the type of the services that will be required, making sure the policy of the foundation accomplished and implemented with the necessary control that will secure the integrity of the business. Following established legal processes, make sure that they are in followed at every sector of the responsibility for. Analyzing, introducing the cooperation manager E for the sector methods of the work with fulfilling the program objective and keeping in the mind of the vision policy for the institution as well as the improving the method of product. Scheduling work with the meeting with the manager responsible for each for the sector goal, exchanging for the information coordinating job, solving the problems, offering guidance for the other appropriate to every situation. Or your production manager. The school will also have the production manager who will be responsible for the production, both agricultural and cattle. The help responsible for planning and enforcing the controlling the farming, the production for the school. The production manager must have the farming profession for the college level of education, which has the ability to teach some of the functions for the possibility to prepare, or functions or position to prepare, or prepare and report the plans, program, the production, delivery, and periodically the direction of programs, new work idea, the maintaining the vision, mission of the program, supervise execution, farming the production plans, working together with the production coordinator, supervising the execution of the project, planning with a garden, or working with it together with a manager extensive of the cultivation, participating in the process of the culture control evaluation budget for the project, planning the farming production, coordinating association with the teachers, draw up the annual dictated production plan of the day to be taken with the school director. With the approval of the responsibility of the president for the school director for the execution, implementation, evaluation, dedicated production plan with the coordinated production activity for the teaching, effectively give the guidance for each sector manager of the key concerning the resources available, their priorities, plan the program annual work with the materials resources required for them, and prepare monthly activities as a sector for the request in advance of the necessary resource for the implementation, coordinated activity, technical sector in the charge. Or your production assistant production manager will count with the support of the analysis and insist of each of the principal functions, those for the executing the plan, developing productive areas of the school. They should agricultural technicians be able to teach. Or your academic board and school secretary. The academic board and school secretary responsibility administrative schools able to maintain the required documentation, register, presentation of all the documentation requests with the state organization for the correcting with the function of the school, fulfilling, verifying the fulfillment of the correct legal processes, preparing reports and achievement of the plan of the director with the reporting the required of the institution conforming with valid norms. The organization of the system, transit, documentation, government will achieves institution attending the school of correspondence, helping the visitor of the school, providing with the information that is interested in the school, taking the notes of preparing institutional documents for the signature and appropriate people, delivering correspondence for the notes documents is received in the office for their intended recipients of registration of them in the post book, accomplishing the other jobs being in air with the charge of with the other ends of the achieving of the areas objectives, assuring the students that attend the school, following the school rules, waking up the students and keeping the check of the staff of the dorms and taking note of the emergency exists, organizing visitors and permits, authorizing visits of the friends and family, following up the evaluation of the students, teacher, the production manager, the assistants with the teacher for the specific classes related to the area of the production. This will also work with the other classes, other teachers within specific areas. Administrators. The administrator is responsible for the entire area of the administration and accounting for the institution. The function includes the accounting, registration, legal, tax, and documentation, dealing with the bank's controlling, balance, etc. Some of the functions which are in the position, write the annual budget for the school, maintain the control over the budget execution, periodically check the budget, and make necessary adjustment, process the data coming from the different areas of the school, production from the academic coming, community training center through the accounting software, coordinate with the continuous flow of the information through the diverse area of the administrative, maintain periodically meetings with those changing production, provide the evaluate the progress in the different plan for the production, maintain control, and ensure the efficiency of the use of the resources of the school, establish adequate internal control system, negotiate with the clients and providers to obtain the best financial terms for the school, maintain fluid communication, central administrative for the foundation, ensure the provisions necessary for the school and payment of the supplier's request for the financial input, etc. Or the governess is responsible for the master of the key of the building, school principal of the hotel. The cook will be in her charge. Cook will be in her charge. Some of the functions of the position are to receive the organized guests, register the arrival and departure of the guests, organize events that take place in the hotel, control the stand, the customer service provided with the guests, encourage the excellent customer service. 9. Financial plan and projections. Objective of this chapter is to help you understand the financial concept of the utility of the management of the agricultural school. We'll have finished with the reading of the chapter. We'll be able to understand what are the financial statement, the financial projection, what the financial ratios are, and what the work are for. Each following projection can be seen with the manual 5 with example, the financial studies cash flow for the agricultural school with the diverse physical people, the corporate bodies with which it does business for the bodies that could be individuals, enterprise with the state, with the financial study with the way of the school will obtain the funds needed to accomplish the objectives, financing examples and additions, and in which one gets the capital with the use of the capital with the payment and interest involved with the financial transaction, financial statement of the final product, the accounting of the basically and summarize the financial situation of the company, the information useful to the administrative of the other interested people like shareholders, credit owners, and below is detailed explanation of the difference financial statement. Already balance, general balance for show the financial position of the company in a certain moment that can be used to demonstrate the capacity of the school and respect to the expiration date and the debts. Statement of results. Statement of results show the economic position of the company over the determined period of the rate. It can also be demonstrated the capacity of the school and generate the rated income. The cash budget and cash flow with the forecast cash availability. One of the has in a certain moment in time, and by looking at the cash flow, you're able to see whether or not the external financial aid that you could also invest in the cash and the opportunity to generate the larger profits. The budget is an action directly to accomplish the predetermined goal for the expressed in the financial term that must be fulfilled to determine the type of the period under certain prediction condition. The concept applied with every area of the organization, each of the financial projection balance sheet, balance statement of results, cash flow, and budget can be seen in Manual 5 with examples. Our sales projection. More delicate, the critical matter of the business plan predicting the income of the sale of the projection must define the increase of the level of the sale policy. The frequently required establish reasonable goals for the reach for the school and attempting with sophisticated methods of the prediction because these can backfire. For example, the economy recession historical the day of the use of the predicted sales will give the sort of damage of the resulting technical prediction, which tended to assume that the history will simply repeat itself, and that does not always happen. Once one has examined the behavior of the economy with external factors with the school sales, one must check with the projection every time they decide whether they have the realistic or not. Nevertheless, in a short period of time, the calculation based on the historical data, for example, examine the seasonal behavior of the sales at a certain time of the year that might be the period speaks for the volume of the sales, for example, that you can make a good inference for that it will be sold in a year. Then, in following charts, the sum of the summary of sales projection agricultural is shown. Alright, your sales are livestock, cattle, pigs, hen houses, agricultural, greenhouse, hotel, food and accommodation, academic registration, family contributions, 2008, 2009, 2011, 2012, total income sales. Alright, depreciation. Effect of the financing of any of the company, even though the items with the depreciation applies to the apparent aren't for sale, but are used for the production product of the delivery is suffered the wear and tear, eventually obsolescence and depreciated. It means that it would be replaced with some future point with the obviously cost of the money. Depreciation, reduction, and historical value of the buildings, equipment, the contribution of these of the generation income must be recognized periodically through the depreciation of the historical value in order to calculate the depreciation necessary to estimate itself in the useful life span. We already know the depreciation reduction value of the fixed asset during the useful life of the when we mean by the period during the asset contribution of the income the generation company they include. In order to calculate the depreciation, you must take into account with the specific asset the deterioration that has suffered the result of their use. The obsolescence due to the technical advance of the action of the natural factors, the all changes the demand for the goods and services who production contribute. Furthermore, there are various methods of calculation of depreciation. There is also facial regulation. Typically, a month's depreciation might look like the following: your goods, your value to the year, the DA, and then month through January to December, an accrued amount and a residual amount of the depreciation and value. Financial rates. The rates expressed with the percentage reflect the economic performance of the company related to generated utility resource of the function of the company. To correctly calculate the indicators will have the estimated the income before the interest and after the task. And someone wants to measure the economic performance of the company without including the financial expense for the use of the loan. For the calculation, you believe the data appear with the statement of the result of the projected balance sheet of the company, since it's necessary to include the analysis value of the resource of the use in the company. This includes the contribution does not represent the cash expense, like, for example, the grounds and property inputs of the investor. The return of the investment indicates the profit expressed from the percentage of the company generated each invested in dollar of the company. In other words, the investor will receive the earnings of each of the dollar that have invested in the company. To calculate the index, you must keep in mind the initial potential and the personal investment made by the manager, plus all the resources of which the manager has to pay an interest. For example, the bank loan in most general terms, the bigger the rate of return is over the investment, the bigger the project appeal for the financial expense that is not included for the calculation of the profits of which so we are supposing that the company self-funded. Return on net assessment. The return on net assets is return on the manager received each of the dollar of the company possesses as asset. Indicator of the positioning of the company since for the indicator profits for their being generated with the assets of the company. Calculate the indicator divides total income, total value assets for the company, including the interest of the tax and the calculation. We again evaluating the company as though it was working exclusively on its own resources. Leverage ratio. The leverage indicates the level of the debt the company holds in the banking and the financial institution. The indicator importantly observing the participation of the manager of the company. The leverage of the high to indicate the debt problems the company covered, the problems of trying to raise funds, new funds, and financial problems. Required investment. You must develop and announce the infrastructure funds needed to assure action to do your business plan. You must quantify the highable accuracy and the spend. Besides representing the guide, what is going to need for the agricultural school will be based on determining the funds required. Below is there is a table example of the list of investments required for the agricultural school. Construction equipment, the educational infrastructure, $39,500. Purchase of the school vehicle, $25,000. Investment in hotel, $101,000. Investment in cattle, $93,500. Investment in pigs, $24,400. Investment in greenhouse, $5,000. Investment in apiary, $2,400. Investment in hen house, $6,500. Investment in vegetable garden, $5,000. Working capital, $30,000. Salaries and service to other operational expenses, $31,852. Investment in technical assistance, $46,000. $152,000. Inventory. The inventory life of this personal property, real estate life of the livestock of the company owned for the determined economical period for the money of the firm. The investment represents the biggest of the current assets. The problems for the inventory contributed with the bankruptcy of the business. The administrative capable of doing the inventory correctly can make the important contribution self-sufficient agricultural school. In an agricultural school, the very important element as of the animals. This includes animals with both the sales and goods and working animals. Alright, San Francisco Agricultural School. Annual budget of the San Francisco Agricultural School is about $200,000, which not only includes the school operating costs, but also the depreciation physical assets of the full amount of the covered income earned in the 16 small enterprise located in the school campus, and the money other entities in the school is non-government owned. Do not have to pay to keep the school in operation. And then the following table shows the annual inventory in U.S. dollars. And that completes a School in a Box Guide Series Manual, how to write a business plan for a self-sufficient school. Teaching a Man How to Fish was the publisher.